What's something silly that's happened this week?
It's been a rough week.
Girl, me too.
Oh, good Lord.
Hard times.
Hard times. You know what?
Man.
It's just been a week, guys,
Hey, guys.
and I'm honestly very excited to get into this podcast so I don't have to think about how bad this week was.
Ah, yes. Oh, man.
Ah, yes.
I'm Julie.
And I'm Marita, and welcome to season... Yas Chef. Hello. That's how far my brain is in the gutter. Not even thinking. Okay, say your name.
I'm Julie.
And I'm Marita, and this is
Yas Chef.
Yas Chef. Yes.
Yes.
Good Lord.
Listen, it's as together as we can be from two different continents, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. I was telling someone was just over and I was like, yeah, she's gonna go grab coffee. And they looked and I was like, not at 8 p.m. It's in 9 a.m. She's in the future.
9 a.m. Hey guys.
Breakfast, guys. She's just drinking some breakfast and I'm having an evening tea. So
yeah, love that.
You gotta stay hydrated.
We're just doing the best that we can.
Mm-hmm. That's what we're doing right now. So if the episode's a little rambly, it's because life has been throwing it at us crazily.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh man. All right. Well, episode 2, pasta.
Yes. Let's get
into it. First note that I have is that it's so hard to explain the food industry to people that just don't get it. And it's like me telling you that I want to open and run my own cafe one day is a different thing than me telling my parents that I want to open and run my own cafe one day, you know? Because it's like you understand the work that goes into it and my parents just see like statistics. And I feel like that's where Sydney's at with this. And sadly, because she had Sheridan happen in the past, like that's where I think her dad is just starting at.
Yeah. I totally I don't even know if I have a note about that part. I was like, my first note is Chicago, baby, summertime, baby. We're at very different starting points. The opening shot, I was just like, oh, I'm going to Chicago this weekend for Pride. Hell yeah. So, sorry, that was my first note.
Shortly after you.
Yes, that's why I don't think I could run my own business. I think I can, like, if I were ever to run my business, it would be like a cake decorating from my own home type of deal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So,
but yeah, no, the shots of Chicago too. Anytime I see stuff on the Riverwalk and everything, I'm just like, oh, I will be there soon. It's
so beautiful. Oh my God, we'll get into it later. But just like art imitates art, all different types of art. I love this. I love this season. It's just very good. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the timeline of this restaurant is crazy. Like how they start each episode off being like 10 weeks left, 11 weeks left. Like that's just not realistic.
It's so, and it's this, I've been thinking about it. It's been in the back of my head. When I go get coffee, like normally there's a cafe that's just like literally at the end of this street. And it's like a teeny tiny, like it's all neighborhoods, but then there's a teeny tiny strip of like 5 businesses. And one of them is like a photography place. One of them is the cafe. One of them is like a sports, like physical therapist type thing. And then one of them was just this like empty little like lot that looked like it used to be a restaurant or something. And it's been like that since I've been here. I've been here for like 6 months in this house. And recently I've seen people start to go into it and like start to like buff it up and everything. And over the weeks, I've seen these 2 guys working on opening up this restaurant. And then it just opened this past weekend. And it's crazy because as this is going through and it's like, okay, 11 weeks, 8 weeks, like the timeline of it where they're just like doing different things. I've seen these guys do it in real time where they're like starting to like make the, you know, like the sales floor ready to go and like making the counter ready, talking about like the kitchen and stuff like that, seating area, like, yeah. So
it's also very exciting.
It is,
but also tragic how expensive it is.
Mm-hmm. Holy shit, yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know why I wrote this, but I wrote chefs are just so delulu. Oh,
They are. Well, maybe part of that is like when they're throwing out like the money of it all. When they're talking about money and like Carmi's like he wanted this one thing that was 2K that was actually 3K and then was like, that whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably where it comes from. It's also where my screenshot comes into play.
Oh, the screenshots right off the bat. I was told to have
Yes.
a screenshot ready to present. So for the video viewers, this is fun. We bought a thing to do this. So let's look at the Reddit screenshot.
All right, let's start off with, hey guys, my name's Julie and I'm actually from Naperville, Illinois. And so basically at the beginning of the show, they talk about, Nat brings up and she's like, sure, you can have the Naperville nickel. And I think the first time coming around, I was just like, oh, name drop Naperville. But then I was like, wait, what is a Naperville nickel? And I looked it up and this is the Reddit thread. Somebody goes, they were talking about the Naperville nickel and like the original thing, and this is the thread. It goes, it's weird too because the north side suburbs have way more money and it's not even close, and that's true, like for sure. The joke about Naperville is that it's new money and it's pretty much all tasteless spending, modern farmhouses and chain restaurants. Naperville is low-hanging fruit. At least the North Shore has amazing architecture, independent businesses, etc. And then somebody else adds, yeah, Naperville stands out because of the towns surrounding it. Those of us that grew up meeting kids who are being taught that their town is superior to all the others naturally develop a specific response when that city is brought up. And I'll be honest, fair point, but I feel like I'm like one of those people that has kind of broken out of that and can see my hometown for what it is, because I know all too well a bunch of people that are Naperville bubble kids for sure. That's the vast majority. But I don't consider myself one of them. Yes.
Julie says, if you hear slander about Naperville in this show, get my name out your fucking mouth.
I'm like, I'm right there with you.
I'm right
Stop.
there. Yeah, no, we used to hang out in Naperville when I was younger because that was like the fun place to hang out. Not the fun place, but it was the rich kid place to hang out. The mall, fantastic. Yeah. The outdoor Naperville mall. Yep. Like, I know that was just like the town next to towns to go to. So
yeah.
Orland Park is getting up there. She used to just be Farmville, but now she only has chain stores. But I wish she had a little bit more. But yeah. Oh, the burbs. I know. I'm also from the suburbs, but I at least spent my childhood in the surrounding areas. Like his I have it down here later, so I'll leave it for them. But the next note I don't know if I'm skipping too far in advance, but I think this is one of the most iconic lines of the show, and I remember you quoting this to me before we even had this podcast. I'll call him back. My bad. After Marcus throws the phone.
Oh, it's like physical comedy. You just can't beat it.
It just shatters into pieces. It's very, very hysterical.
Why did you throw it? Like,
why'd you throw it so hard? Here's the phone.
Yeah, Lord. I know. Like, if you threw, like, you're so right. If you had just tossed the phone or something like that, it probably would have fell. Like, maybe the back part with the batteries would have come off. That shit shattered.
Smashed.
That
everyone is just at their highest peak of being stressed. They really are.
Yeah. Oh man.
Hence, the thing I have is Richie watching the YouTube tutorial on how to fix things.
Yes.
And he's just like, no, I'll do it. And he also thinks that his way is the only right way. I also always forget his name is Neil.
Neil Fack. Yep.
Neil Fack. I always forget it.
Oh, silly guy. I love him. And then the whole dynamic of them calling Nat mom. Don't call mom.
That's what you call mom. And there's only though when he said there's only one way and it's the effing right way, that is white crazy man behavior. But I cannot deny that I've definitely heard a man say that before. Like there's no you're just saying it's right because you're saying it's right.
Yeah, and then him calling himself an alpha. Stop.
He knows
what was
how
your mom's
Delulu
reaction
it is,
to that?
and that's the worst part.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God. What else do we have? Oh, and then so these are some things that are built into the budget. Is they were sending Tina and Ibri to Ibra?
Yeah.
Ibra. To Kendall, which is so fun.
Give it up to my man Kendall. Julie, did you almost so for anyone listening or I don't know if you even know what Kendall is, but Kendall is the culinary college that they go to. But if you're a Chicago culinary kid, you at least look at Kendall. So did you look at Kendall when you were younger? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Did you go to any of their summer camps?
No, my whole thing was I don't know if they've changed their programs since, but when I was looking at going into college and stuff like that, they didn't have a baking program, like a specific baking program. It was just a baking program that was built into the culinary program. And I was like, nah.
Oh.
Not what I wanted. Yeah.
Interesting. No, I did their baking and pastry camps growing up because my whole plan is I was from Florida and I wanted to go to school where my family was at in Chicago. So like in an alternate universe, if Marita's dad didn't die, she would have grown up in Republican Trump, Florida. Crazy. Hey, crazy. Would have grown up there, would have probably gone to school in Chicago and like had a totally different life.
Yeah.
So like so when I was living in Florida, I would go up for the summer camps. So like I was actually too young to do the summer camp, but I called and said, but I'm mature and can you let me? And they said, well, no one's done that, asked that before. So sure, little kid. And I was like, work. And I was the best one in the class. And the chef was like, you're really young. I was like, yeah, I kind of elbowed my way into the summer camp. And he was just like, good. I was like, thanks, chef. Respect. And then I never went to that school.
Yeah.
But yes, I love Kendall. But the only reason why I was going to say, the reason why I ended up not going there is because the year that I was going there, it got sold to a different college. A different college bought it for them for $1, a singular dollar. They bought the title, like they bought like all of their like chefs and stuff in that department, moved it to like a new college of National Louis University, and now their kitchens are on Lakeshore Drive. So that's why when you see them walking in from Lakeshore Drive, that's why it's there. It's no longer on Goose Island. Kendall College used to be on Goose Island.
I did not know that. Wow, yeah.
You're sitting there with your mouth open going,
picture me shocked.
Oh yeah, I almost went there, but I didn't want to be a guinea pig. I would have been the first class. And I said, I'm not about that life.
Nah. Wow, that's crazy.
But then I would have never met you.
I know. Everything really does happen
all my life.
No, it's so crazy because I think when I was looking at schools, my parents wanted me to stay in state. Like they wanted me to stay close and I wanted to go as far away as possible. So I was looking at other schools and stuff like that. Like I was originally, the one that I was leaning towards was JU Denver's campus, but then obviously that didn't pan out. So I came over to Providence. But when I was looking at Chicago schools, Kendall was up there, but it was just like crazy expensive. And then again, their program didn't really like outline what I wanted. And then when I was in high school, I remember looking at Le Cordon Bleu, but then they closed down their things in Chicago. So
yes, I never got to Le Cordon Bleu. I wish I did.
Yeah. I will say I think when I was a freshman in high school, my older brother was, I think a junior. Yeah, junior. And so he was looking at colleges and stuff. And I don't know why my parents did this, but when he was looking at colleges, like we would all as a family, like go around to tour some of the places. And they were like, let's look at Le Cordon Bleu for Julie, even though she's a freshman and our other son is not interested in Le Cordon Bleu at all. And so I remember going there and walking through the kitchens and I was like, this is so fun. I want to go here.
I love that. That's so funny.
Yeah.
I'll insert this in post edit. Julie, there is a picture of me in my Kendall College uniform that says culinary camper. And I am very small.
I did do a summer program at CIA.
I did not. I never even kind of looked at CIA. I said they're in the middle of nowhere. Does not sound like my speed.
Well, I think I got to that conclusion when I finally went there, because I was like all about CIA, and I was like all of high school, I was like, I'm gonna go here for sure, for sure. And then junior year, my parents signed me up to go to New York to actually see it. And then me and my mom went to like New York City and stuff afterwards. But I remember getting up there and I was like, what the fuck is Poughkeepsie? Like where are we? And then we get to the actual campus, and these are like little things that I was paying attention to. And I was like, my phone service doesn't reach out here. I can't live here. It's like,
He
no.
said, I've actually had enough. What if I need 911?
I'm like, the campus is so beautiful. And actually they're like the whole like interior, like their kitchens and like all things in there. Like, I mean, in the same way that Jewu, like we have our dining rooms and stuff like that. They had like their dining rooms that we went and had like dinner, lunch, whatever at, and everything. Like everything was so pretty and very nice, and like the students were very like professional, and the food was really good and stuff. But like Poughkeepsie,
yeah,
Sydney, how did Sydney do that for real?
I don't know. Yeah,
anyway,
it's something I don't tell you about the CIA life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm dying for them to talk about Jewu. I'm waiting for the day. It'll never happen.
Yeah. Hey,
but
maybe season 3.
Maybe season 3. If it does, hey, as a social media manager, I would eat that up. But I have a feeling that's not the case. I would go crazy. The next thing I have is when they're talking and calling, they're like all calling at the same time, and it's all crazy. Carmi's calling about the fridge handle. And I said, if you know, you know.
Well, there's 2 things in there. 1, the fridge handle, which is foreshadow. And then 2, you hear him give his number out correctly. Like he's phonetically like saying it very clearly to try and get it on the phone. And then just everybody note that for the end of the episode when he's giving his number to Claire. Yeah.
But at least the first 5 numbers are right. 77355. Because then he changes it. And the only reason why I know that is do not call my mom. But my mom's phone number is 77355, another number. So every time he started saying the number, I would immediately be like, whoa. And then obviously who changed. But that's why I did notice that at least the first 5 numbers were correct. Both times he said 55.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, God,
maybe Carmi and my mom got a cell phone number at the same time. At similar times.
Right.
Who knows? Probably not, but maybe.
The sorry in sign language, I think, is so like nice and like yeah, I just think it's a really just the whole sentiment of it, like using that in the kitchen and just like having it being an unspoken thing with everyone, like I think that's really good because it can get very, very tense or very intense, in the kitchen. And I think just having like just let's move on from this. I mean it. I'm sorry.
Your mic is on your chest.
Sorry.
For the audio listeners, if you just heard a ruckus, Julie was doing the I'm sorry sign like into her tiny microphone on her chest.
I'll just ASMR for you. Sorry.
ASMR. Do you get the tingles?
God.
But yeah, and then something that Emily, are you done with the I'm sorry? Do you want to move forward?
That's it.
Yeah, no, but it's a great test. I mean, they talk about like you will work with your arch enemy in the kitchen, and that's just a fact. And like you just have to work with them, so like get over it. And it also just proves that like problems are like every problem can be solved. You just have to like move forward, like, you know what I mean? Decisions can be made. It's very intense. But no, the next thing I have so I was watching this with my girlfriend. She's not totally caught up, so I was kind of catching her up a little bit as it went. And when they finally opened Mikey's locker, I realized that's why Richie didn't want to move it so much. Because they didn't want to have, like, he didn't want to have to deal with opening the locker. So he's like, we can do all the work around the locker. And I was like, she was like, whose locker? Like, why does he not want to touch it? I was like, that totally makes sense.
I didn't put that together, and that does make sense for real.
Yeah, see, doesn't it make sense? Because he seems like very much someone who's like, does not want to broach, like if it's right, like if he has to confront the locker that they haven't opened, and then Cindy's like, it's a hat. And Mark is like, show some respect.
Don't be an asshole.
Don't be an asshole. I'm like, oh
yeah. Get her.
The hat. I'm like, no, get her, girl, get her.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I was like, oh, that's why they didn't want to move it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then Carmi giving the hat to him too was very nice. So
yes,
yeah,
very much so. The next thing I have, because when he's holding the hat, he's talking about Taste of Chicago, and I was just gonna ask you if you've been to the Taste of Chicago.
No, I have not, but I should do that for real.
It's very delicious. If you're in Chicago this year, which you might be, because it's usually in July, I think.
Oh, so yeah, slay. I could maybe.
Scrumptious food. But yes, Taste of Chicago is very good. Lots of different good eats to have, and lots of just little good snacks. Next point I want to make: I want Sydney and Marcus so badly, it's not even funny. And every time I see Carmi Sydney behavior on this season, I get mad.
Yeah,
I'm so nervous for season 3 and 4.
Girl,
pissed off if they end up together. I'm a Sydney Marcus stan.
Absolutely, Sydney and Marcus and Carmi and Claire. Just work it out.
You see the vision.
Yes. Yeah. No. No. Because then it just plays into the whole like. I get it, like kitchen environments sometimes can be toxic for this, that like people just will start dating in the kitchen and stuff like, and it gets messy. But it's just, that's the point. Like it gets fucking messy, and we just don't need that in the show. Like it's already messy enough with their personal lives and stuff that they bring into the kitchen just as is. So like, let's just not take it a step forward.
Non-chef people are like, I want that. And I'm like, I'm telling you right now, you do not. It's not good.
No. It's going to make everything like so much worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we talk about the best moment of when the ceiling collapses on Richie? Because I love to see that man proved wrong.
Hey, him saying mold is a buzzword is very funny. He's making it seem like it's mold is a buzzword. I'm like, why do all white men think that everything's made up when it's actually really bad things are going on? I'm like, no, mold is mold, girl.
Mold is a buzzword. Like, no. Well, the ceiling would collapse if we had mold. Well, hate to break it to you.
His defeat on his face, like that, I think is his lowest of lows. When he wants to be the alpha and then that rains down on him, he's like, and they don't respect me. When Marcus was the one to call, he was like, I cannot believe the alliance that we had, that you were gonna betray me. Oh.
Yup. Oh man.
The next part, the Marcus looking at them fighting at like they're back in him, we're going back and forth, and Marcus just is like, what the hell?
Yeah. I love the dynamic there. I think it's just
I told Emily they're the comic relief. Like those two are for sure, like they make me tee hee hee. Because they're so relatable too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. The next thing I have is them starting when the teacher said your notes are on, or orientation is on Zoom and your class will like be in the cloud. I was like, one, triggered by just COVID, doing culinary school during COVID. It was so rotten, actual rotten. And you had to manage the people of the COVID classes.
Yeah. Yes, I did.
Rotten.
It was kind of like, I don't know, that's what I think makes this show feel so real, is that like they're not, it's like this exists. Like this is real because they're talking about COVID. They're talking about like I think in the next episode they'll talk about like businesses that closed because of COVID and stuff like that. So they bring it out a little bit more. And it's like that's a part, like this is real time right now, like 2023, 2024, like the aftermath of COVID. And so now it's just like that's like, put it in your head. That's when they're starting these classes, these culinary classes. And so, yeah, it is in the aftermath of it. And they're just like, yep, it's on Zoom. Like
it's on Zoom and your classrooms are on the board. Like, can you imagine being like Tina and being like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Do they have just like that's just very difficult. And like they don't have that technological literacy to understand. Mm-hmm. So it's unfair. I'm like, culinary school at the end of the day should be culinary school. Can you chop a carrot? Can you keep up with the hustle, girl? You know what I mean?
I agree.
It's just, you see like just COVID and it just brought me back to being like, hey, it's the middle of summer 2020. This curriculum isn't going to exist, so you have to come back now, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Terrible. I also noted that like, it's kind of sad to like watch how this unfolds for them, but Tina, I think, is so like honored by Sydney, Sydney trying to like get her to be sous chef, and she's super like into them going to Kendall and learning and really like getting to see the technical side of it. And Ibra, I think when he's at Kendall, it's very eye-opening for him skill-wise, because I think that some people also don't get that there's a big difference between working in the food industry and just like working in the food industry for 20, 30 years and going to school for food industry and then working in the food industry. Like you just have different background, different training. Cause sometimes I think people, when they just go straight into the food industry, like they learn the training for their niche thing and not like the professional or like the right way or like the textbook way to do things, but they learn their way of doing things in that one workplace. And so when you go and you're in these like culinary classes and stuff like that, they're teaching you very like straight and narrow. These are like the methods to do it. And then you can take that and go off to your own thing. But it was kind of like, I've been working in industry for like 20, 30 years at this point. Like, why do I need this? I don't need to be here. And maybe he's frustrated by younger people with like the Sydney spunk trying to come in and like take notes.
I need there to be a Sydney throwback culinary episode of her in culinary school.
That would be great. I would love to, because we have throwbacks of Carmi in the Michelin restaurant. So it just makes sense that we would get Sydney and some of her background. I think that'd be so fun.
I need it to happen.
Season 3.
Season 3, hopefully. And then I also wrote, our professors having to navigate COVID is also just a crazy experience. Like, I feel like our school, a lot of the older chefs left. They're like, I'm not doing this anymore. And you know what? Respect to that. Yeah. The next thing I have is Sydney doesn't tell him about her mom, even though he asked about it. And then like later he's like, oh, you're dead. She's like, and I thought of this really good recipe. I'm like, but I also wrote at the same time, having a parent die when you're a young kid, you also don't want to be pitied. And sometimes, like, I didn't tell my boss about how my dad died for a while. After I got, like, the Powered by Purpose video made about me, I told a coworker, I've never been able to get that big of an achievement or, like, something that cool without sharing my sob story. So it was very nice to, like, earn it without sharing that background. So, like, I understand, but it also makes me sad.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, because God, it's like the audience POV where you like, you know, stuff that the characters don't know and everything. So yeah, it's like, that's really sad. But I thought that their little birthday cake thing was really cute.
Oh, going out for a dead parent's birthday, relatable content. Gotcha. We jumped down a little bit. I was lost. I'm back. Very good. Sugar's monologue in the bathroom when the toilet's gargling. Did you know she had AirPods in? Or like was talking on the phone? Because no one's responding. And it sounds like she's like on a call, but I'm like, no one is responding. What is happening?
Yeah. I think I put together that she was on a call. She was talking to someone, but I think it's just funny that after the monologue, it's revealed that it's just the plumber, and it's not like as she's talking, she's explaining these things, and you're like, is she on the phone with her husband? Like,
gotcha. Okay. As a theater kid, anytime I hear a good monologue, I'm like, I gotta write that down. Gotta write that down for my next show. But I thought it was a very good monologue that she has.
Oh yeah.
Now knowing that it's the plumber, it's very funny.
Oh yeah, for sure. She's just like, I don't know what I'm doing, you know? So anyways, the toilet.
No.
Next note I have is enter Claire.
I said, let's go, Claire! And with a bunch of E's at the end.
Yes. I love her. She's great. I think that she just is his match. Like,
yes, I fully agree. And the girl who plays her, like, I love the actress who plays her, Molly, whatever her last name is. She's friends with Ao. Like they do a lot of like things together.
Love that.
For anyone who is a theater kid, there is a movie that she's in called Theater Camp with Ben Platt, and it's about them like running a theater camp and Ao's in it as like a standing character. Hysterical, very, very funny.
Oh, cool. Not know that.
Cool. Yes.
But yeah, I'm trying to think. I just like her whole like bravado is just iconic and everything. Like, it doesn't fit into Carmen bullshit at all. I love it.
Yes, and it's because she works in that like fast-paced hustle. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she's in that industry. It's just different. It reminds me, like, my mom was an ER nurse in Chicago, and my dad was a paramedic. So they both had jobs. You had to be on your feet doing things 24/7. And it's very similar to the food industry.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and then Carmi is real because I think it's when they're having the conversation, and he's like, yes, somebody like called and asked what advice I had for someone that like wanted to go into industry, and he was like, just don't.
Yeah.
Real. Real.
Yeah. I'm like, as someone who's not working in the industry right now, I understand that comment.
Yeah. Like my little brother, and I don't know if he's still serious on this, but I think when I was still a student at JWU, he was like starting to get into cooking a little bit, my like baby brother. And he was like, yeah, maybe I'll go to culinary school too or something like that. And I was like, really? And I'm like, but do you really like it? Or because he hasn't ever had like a food industry job either. And so he's at the point of he just likes cooking at home. And like, don't get me wrong, like same, like I baked all the time at home, but I knew what I was getting into with the industry and stuff. So I'm just like,
me too.
Are you sure there's nothing else that you want to do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very cutthroat.
It's not easy. It's not easy out here.
It's not easy. But yeah, my thing was my note ends with I love Claire with the little emoji going like this. The little blushing guy with the hand above his face. I just love her, and I hope they're endgame.
I do too. I wrote just oh yeah, this was my last thing. I went, so Claire. She goes, because you're the bear, and I remember you.
Yeah.
Mic drop. That was so good. That was notes. That was so good. God.
All right. Well, that is episode 2 of The Bear. Pasta. Yes. All right.
Yes.
Bye, guys.